The cargo bay smelled like oil and metal. Wiped sweat from her forehead as she checked the manifest on her tablet. Numbers glowed on the screen. 50 containers of medical supplies, 30 boxes of machine parts, everything needed to match perfectly. She had been working on Nexus Prime Station for 3 months now. The job was simple. Check the cargo, load the cargo, make sure nothing went missing. Her cousin Ho had helped her get the job. He worked in the maintenance section, fixing broken equipment and keeping the station running. The station was huge, bigger than any building on Earth. Aliens from 100 different worlds walked through the corridors every day. Some had scales, some had fur. Some looked almost human but with strange eyes or extra arms, was still getting used to it all. "This count is wrong," said a voice behind her. It was rough and deep. Turned around. A tall alien stood there. He had dark green skin that looked like leather. 4 arms hung at his sides. His head was large with a heavy jaw and small yellow eyes. She recognized him, Commander Vex. He ran the security teams on this section of the station. "The manifest shows 50 containers," said. She kept her voice polite. "I counted 50 containers." "I need 52, Vex said. His jaw clicked when he talked. "Where are the other 2? Looked at her tablet again. "Sir, the order says 50, see." She turned the screen toward him. Vex barely looked at it. "I don't care what your screen says, soft skin. I need 52 containers. Find them." Soft skin. That's what some aliens called humans. It wasn't exactly an insult, but it wasn't respectful either. Took a deep breath. "Stay calm, don't make trouble." "I can contact the supplier," offered. "Maybe there was a mistake with the order, but what arrived here is what was sent. I can show you the shipping records." "I don't have time for this." Vex's voice got louder. Other workers in the bay started looking over. A small blue alien pushing a hover cart stopped to watch. "You humans always make excuses, always slow, always causing problems." Felt heat rise in her chest. She had been doing her job perfectly, every day for 3 months. Not one mistake, not one complaint, until now. "Commander, I'm just following the proper procedure," she said. "If you want to file a complaint about the shipment, I can help you do that. But I can't create containers that don't exist." "Move aside," Vex stepped forward. "I'll check the cargo myself. You're clearly incompetent." "I'm not incompetent." The words came out harder than intended. "I'm doing my job correctly. The cargo matches the order. If you want different cargo, you need to file the proper request." Vex's eyes narrowed. His jaw clicked again, faster this time. "Did you just talk back to me?" Before could answer, Vex reached out. 2 of his hands grabbed her by the collar of her uniform. He lifted her up. Her feet left the ground. She rose until she was at eye level with him. "Let me explain something to you, human," Vex said. His breath smelled like sulfur. "On this station I give orders. You follow them. That's how it works." Time seemed to slow down. His heart pounded. She had taken self-defense classes back on Earth. Every human working off-world had to. They called it gravity adjustment training, but everyone knew what it really was: how to protect yourself in space. Her instructor's voice echoed in her memory. "If someone grabs you, don't think, just react." His body moved before her mind could catch up. Her right arm came up. Her elbow bent. She twisted her shoulders and drove her elbow into the side of Vex's jaw. The sound was terrible, like a branch breaking, like ice cracking, sharp and loud in the metal cargo bay. Vex's hands opened, dropped to the ground, landing on her feet. Vex stumbled backward. His jaw hung wrong. It tilted to one side. Dark purple blood dripped from his mouth. The cargo bay went silent. Everyone stopped working. The small blue alien's cart beeped softly in the background. Vex tried to speak. Only a wet gurgling sound came out. He touched his jaw with one hand. When he pulled the hand away, more purple blood covered his fingers. His yellow eyes went wide, not with anger, with shock. "Medical emergency in Cargo Bay 7, heard herself say. Her voice sounded far away. "Medical emergency. Commander Vex is injured." Two other security officers ran into the bay. They had green skin like Vex but smaller bodies. They saw their commander and froze. "Get the medical team," shouted. That snapped them out of it. One spoke quickly into his communication device. The other moved to Vex's side. A medical team arrived in less than 2 minutes. They had a floating stretcher. They helped Vex onto it. He kept making that gurgling sound. His eyes found she couldn't read the expression there. Pain, yes, but something else too, surprise maybe, or fear. The medical team rushed Vex away. The security officers stayed behind. They looked at the other workers, looked at each other. "What happened?" the taller officer asked. "He grabbed her," the small blue alien said. His voice was high and quick. "The commander grabbed the human. She defended herself. I saw everything." "Is this true?" the officer looked at. "Yes," said. Her hands were shaking now. She put them behind her back. "He grabbed me by the collar. He lifted me off the ground. I reacted." The officer touched his communication device. "We need to report this. Don't go anywhere." More people arrived. Station administrators, other security personnel. Someone took to a small office. They asked her to wait. They said someone would come to talk to her. Sat in the plastic chair and stared at her hands. They had stopped shaking. She had defended herself. That was allowed. That was legal, even in space, even on an alien station. But she kept seeing Vex's jaw hanging wrong, kept hearing that cracking sound, kept seeing the purple blood. Her tablet buzzed, a message from Ho. "I heard what happened. Are you okay?" Typed back with numb fingers, "I don't know." She waited in that small office for 3 hours. Her mind kept replaying the moment. Vex's hands on her collar, the feeling of being lifted, the instinct that made her elbow fly up, the terrible sound of breaking bone. Had she used too much force? Was she in trouble? Would they send her back to Earth? The door opened. A woman in a formal suit walked in. She had black hair tied back tight. Her eyes were sharp but not unkind. "I'm Ambassador," the woman said. "I represent Earth's interests on this station. We need to talk about what happened today." Stood up. "Am I under arrest?" "No," said, "but this is complicated, very complicated. Commander Vex is in surgery right now. His injuries are severe." She paused. "Do you understand what you did?" "I defended myself," said. "He grabbed me first." "I know," said. "I saw the security footage, but there's something you need to understand about humans in space, something they should have told you before you came here." She sat down in the other chair. "We're stronger than we realize, much stronger." Ambassador pulled up a chair and sat across from. The small office felt even smaller now. Could hear voices outside, people talking in languages she didn't understand. "Tell me what you know about Earth's gravity," said. Frowned. "It's normal gravity. 1G, that's what we're used to." "Right." 1G pulled out a tablet and tapped the screen. "Most aliens in the galaxy evolved on worlds with less gravity. Much less. The average is 0.6 G. Some species come from worlds with 0.7 or 0.8. Very few come from worlds with gravity like Earth." "I don't understand what that has to do with." "It means you're stronger than most of them," interrupted. "Your muscles developed in higher gravity. Your bones are denser. When you hit Commander Vex, you hit him with the force of someone from a heavy gravity world." The word hung in the air. Had heard it before but thought it was just slang. A joke that humans made about Earth, the planet with predators and poison plants and deadly weather. "How bad are his injuries?" asked quietly. Didn't sugarcoat it. "His jaw is shattered, completely broken. The bone fragments damaged some of the nerves in his throat. He'll need cybernetic reconstruction. They're operating on him now." "Felt sick. I just wanted him to let go." "I know, and legally you did nothing wrong. He initiated physical contact without consent. He used his position to intimidate you. You defended yourself using reasonable force, leaned forward. But this is going to cause problems, big problems. The other species don't realize how strong humans are. They think we're fragile because we look soft. No scales, no armor, no claws. They think we're weak. What happens now? Asked. Now we wait. The station administrator is reviewing the security footage. The medical team is documenting Vex's injuries. There will be an investigation. Stood up. Stay here. Don't talk to anyone except me or your legal representative. Understand? Nodded, left. The room felt cold. Hours passed, dozed in the chair. She dreamed of Vex's yellow eyes, of purple blood, of that cracking sound echoing forever. A knock on the door woke her. A different person entered. This alien was tall and thin with a body like an insect, large black eyes, long fingers. Its skin was a pale green color. "I am Doctor," the alien said. Its voice was soft, almost musical. "I am the chief medical officer. I performed Commander Vex's surgery." "Is he alive?" asked. "Yes, but he will never be the same." Doctor sat down slowly. Its movements were careful and precise. "I have practiced medicine for 30 years. I have seen many injuries, but I have never seen a jaw shattered quite like this. The force required was considerable. I didn't mean to hurt him that badly." "I believe you." Doctor tilted its head. "I reviewed your physical assessment from when you arrived on the station. You are a small human, below average height, below average weight for your species. Yet you generated enough force to break bones that evolved to withstand significant pressure." "What are you saying?" "I am saying that even a small human is dangerous by galactic standards. This is not your fault, but it is a fact we must now acknowledge." Doctor pulled out a small device and showed a holographic image. It was a scan of Vex's skull. The jaw area was highlighted in red. "He will need a mechanical feeding system. He cannot chew anymore. He cannot eat solid food. His pride is destroyed along with his jaw." Looked away from the image. "Can I see him?" "No, he does not wish to see you. He does not wish to see anyone." Doctor turned off the hologram. "He is ashamed." "He grabbed me," said. Her voice was harder than she intended. "He lifted me off the ground. What was I supposed to do?" "Nothing different," Doctor said. "You did what your body was trained to do, but understanding that intellectually and accepting it emotionally are different things, for both of you." Doctor left, was alone again. The next morning, Ambassador returned with another person, a man in a station administrator uniform. He had gray skin and 3 eyes arranged in a triangle on his face. "This is Wu," said. "He runs this section of the station." Wu looked uncomfortable. "Miss, we have reviewed all available evidence. Security footage, witness statements, medical reports. It is clear that Commander Vex initiated inappropriate physical contact. You responded with self-defense." "So I'm not in trouble?" asked. "No charges will be filed against you," Wu said. "However, Commander Vex is also facing disciplinary action for his conduct. This situation is unfortunate for everyone. Can I go back to work?" Wu and exchanged glances. "Yes," Wu said slowly, "but things may be different now. Word has spread through the station. Everyone knows what happened. Some aliens will avoid you, some will respect you, some will fear you." "I just want to do my job," said. "And you will," said. "But you need to understand something. This incident is going to change things for all humans on this station, maybe on all stations. We've been here for less than a decade. We're still new to the galaxy. Incidents like this shape how aliens see us." Felt the weight of that. She wasn't just anymore. She was the human who broke an alien's jaw, the human who proved that Earth people were dangerous. "There's going to be a mandatory briefing," Wu said. "All human workers must attend. We need to establish new protocols, safety guidelines, ways to prevent this from happening again." "It wouldn't have happened if he hadn't grabbed me," said. "I know," Wu said, And that is part of the new protocols. No physical contact between species without explicit consent, no intimidation tactics, no assumptions about physical capabilities. This goes both ways. They let go back to her quarters. She walked through the station corridors. Aliens stared at her. A group of small reptilian workers moved to the other side of the corridor as she passed. A large alien with 4 legs nodded at her with what might have been respect. Ho was waiting at her door. He pulled her into a hug as soon as he saw her. "I was worried," he said. "They wouldn't let me see you." "I'm okay," said, but she wasn't sure if that was true. "Come inside," Ho said. "I brought food, real food from the Earth section you need to eat." Inside, her small quarters finally broke down. She cried while Ho held her. She cried for Vex and his shattered jaw. She cried for herself and the weight of what she'd done. She cried because everything felt different now. "It was self-defense," Ho said. "You did nothing wrong." "Then why do I feel terrible?" asked. "Because you're human," Ho said. "Because you have empathy, even for someone who hurt you first." They ate in silence. The food tasted like nothing. Outside, the station hummed with life. Somewhere in the medical bay, Vex was learning to use his new mechanical jaw. Somewhere in the administrative offices, people were writing new rules because of what happened. And sat in her small quarters, wondering if she would ever feel normal again. 6 weeks passed. Went back to work in the cargo bays. Everything was different now. The first day back, she walked to Cargo Bay 7, the place where it happened. She expected to feel afraid. Instead, she just felt tired. The bay looked the same. Metal walls, rows of containers, the smell of oil and machinery. But the workers treated her differently. The small blue alien who had witnessed everything always nodded to her now. Other aliens gave her space, lots of space. They stepped aside when she walked past. They didn't argue about cargo counts anymore. "They're scared of you," said a voice behind her. Turned, a young human man stood there. He wore a security uniform. The patch on his shoulder said his name was. "I'm not scary," he said. "You broke a commander's jaw in one hit. That's pretty scary to them." Leaned against a container. "I just started working security last week. They assigned me here specifically because I'm human. They think maybe I can handle trouble better than the others." "That's stupid," said. "Being human doesn't make you good at security." "No, but being strong helps," smiled. It was friendly, not mean. "Look, I heard what happened. Everyone heard. You did the right thing. He grabbed you. You defended yourself. Simple." "It doesn't feel simple," said. "Nothing ever does after it happens." Pushed off from the container. "But hey, cargo work is easier now, right? I've been watching. Nobody gives the human workers trouble anymore. Nobody tries to intimidate you. Nobody claims you miscounted." He was right. The work was easier, but it felt wrong somehow, like she'd won something she didn't want to win. That afternoon, Ho found her during break. He looked excited. "I need to show you something," he said. He led her to the maintenance section. A group of human workers were gathered around a table. They were eating lunch and talking. When walked in, they all looked up. "This is my cousin," Ho said. "We know who she is," said an older human woman with short gray hair. "Everyone knows. Sit down, kid." Sat, the woman pushed a sandwich toward her. "I'm Sung," the woman said. "I captain a cargo ship, been in space for 15 years. I want to tell you something important." Took the sandwich but didn't eat. She waited. "When I first came to space, aliens pushed me around constantly," Sung said. "They thought humans were weak. They thought we were stupid. They gave us the worst jobs, the most dangerous tasks. They figured if a human died, who cares? Earth has billions more." The other workers nodded. They'd all experienced it. "Then one day, a loader tried to throw me off a loading dock. Said I was in his way. I pushed back, just a simple push. Nothing violent. The went flying, hit the wall hard, broke 3 ribs." Sung took a bite of her sandwich. "After that, things changed. They realized we're not weak. We're from a heavy world. Our normal is their extreme. Did you get in trouble? Asked. Almost, but I had witnesses. They saw him try to throw me first, same as your situation. Sung pointed at with her sandwich. Here's what you need to understand. This was going to happen eventually. Maybe not to you, maybe not in a cargo bay, but somewhere, somehow, aliens were going to learn that humans are strong. Better it happened in self-defense than in aggression. Vex can't eat solid food anymore, said quietly. He needs machines to feed him. I know that's unfortunate. Sung's face was serious. But he grabbed you. He lifted you off the ground. He used his size and position to intimidate you. What were you supposed to do? Just take it. Just let him throw you around. No, said. Exactly no, Sung finished her sandwich. On Earth we have a saying, don't start fights you can't finish. Vex started a fight, you finished it, that's not your fault. Left the maintenance section feeling slightly better. Not good, but better. Work continued. Weeks turned into routine. Then one day saw him. Vex was walking through the corridor. He moved differently now, slower. His head was down. A mechanical device was attached to his jaw. It was silver and covered the lower part of his face. Tubes ran from it to a pack on his belt. Froze, they were 20 feet apart. Other workers in the corridor stopped moving. Everyone watched. Vex looked up. His yellow eyes met. For a long moment, neither of them moved. Thought about saying something, apologizing maybe, or explaining. But what could she say? Sorry I broke your jaw when you grabbed me. Sorry you can't eat anymore because you decided to intimidate me. Vex looked away first. He turned and walked down a different corridor. The mechanical device on his jaw made a soft humming sound as he moved. Realized she'd been holding her breath. She let it out slowly. That night she couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about Vex's eyes, about the machine on his face, about how he'd looked away, not with anger, with shame. She went to the station's information center. It was quiet this late at night. Only a few people were there. Used a public terminal to research culture. What she found made her feel worse. In society, the jaw was important. A strong jaw meant strength, leadership, respect. Warriors would bite their enemies in combat. Leaders would snap their jaws to show dominance. Vex couldn't do any of that now. His jaw was broken, replaced with machinery. In his culture, he was ruined. Can't sleep either. Jumped stood behind her. Just reading, she said. Looked at the screen. He saw the cultural information, feeling guilty. Shouldn't I? Maybe, but guilt doesn't change anything. Sat down next to her. You know what the other security officers told me. They said Vex was known for being rough, pushing people around, using his size to intimidate. He'd been reported 3 times before. Nothing ever happened because he was good at his job. That doesn't make me feel better, said. It should. It means you weren't his first victim. You were just the first one who could fight back. Close the terminal screen. Look, I get it. You hurt someone. That's hard to live with, even when it was justified, but you need to understand something. This changed things for all of us. Human workers are safer now. We're respected now. That matters. At what cost? Asked. At the cost of one arrogant commander learning a hard lesson, said. Is that too much? I don't think so. 3 days later, there was a mandatory meeting. All human workers had to attend. Ambassador stood at the front of the room. Doctor was there too. And Wu, the station administrator. We're implementing new protocols, announced. Station-wide. No physical contact between species without verbal consent. No intimidation tactics based on physical size or strength. All species will receive training on biological differences and appropriate conduct. Doctor spoke next. We have prepared educational materials. All station personnel will learn about different species' capabilities. Workers will learn about human strength. Human workers will learn about jaw sensitivity. Workers will learn about both. Knowledge prevents accidents. Wu added, there will also be restraint training. mandatory for all humans working in mixed environments. You need to understand your own strength so you can control it. The room was silent. 50 human workers sat and listened. "This is because of me," said. She didn't mean to say it out loud, but she did. Everyone turned to look at her. His expression softened. "This is because it was time," said. "Humans have been in space for less than a decade. We're still figuring out how to coexist with other species. Sometimes lessons are learned the hard way, but they're still lessons." After the meeting, workers filed out slowly. Some patted on the shoulder, others just nodded. Ho walked with her back to her quarters. "You okay?" he asked. "I don't know," said. "Everyone keeps telling me I did the right thing, that this is good for humans, but Vex's life is ruined." "His life isn't ruined, it's different. There's a distinction." Ho stopped walking. "Listen to me. You're carrying weight that isn't yours to carry. Vex made a choice. He chose to grab you. He chose to intimidate you. He chose to use force. You just reacted. That's not the same thing." "I know," said, "but knowing it and feeling it were different things." She went to bed that night thinking about strength, about what it meant, about the responsibility that came with it. On Earth, humans were normal, average, but in space they were powerful. And power, even accidental power, came with consequences. 3 months after the incident, was called to the administrative level. She'd never been that high in the station before. The corridors were wider here, cleaner. The walls were decorated with art from different worlds. Ambassador met her at the elevator. "Don't be nervous," said. "You're not in trouble." "Then why am I here?" "The Galactic Council wants to hear from you. There's been discussion about humans, about our place in space. Your incident became the center of that discussion." They walked to a large conference room. Inside, screens covered one wall. Each screen showed a different alien, different species, different worlds. This was the council. Wu was there, Doctor too, and sitting in a chair away from everyone else was Vex. He still wore the mechanical feeding device. He looked smaller somehow, less confident. "Please sit, miss," said one of the aliens on the screens. This one looked like a floating jellyfish. Its voice was translated by a computer into something could understand. "We have questions about the incident." For the next hour they asked questions. What happened? Why did she react that way? Did she know her own strength? Did she mean to cause permanent damage? Answered honestly. No, she didn't know she was that strong. No, she didn't mean to hurt him permanently. Yes, she had training in self-defense. Yes, she would do it again if someone grabbed her. Then they called on Vex. He stood slowly. When he spoke, his voice came through the mechanical device. It sounded flat, emotionless. "I initiated physical contact," Vex said. "I grabbed her without permission. I used my position as security commander to intimidate her. I believed humans were weak and easily controlled. I was wrong." One of the council members, a reptilian alien with bright red scales, spoke up. "This incident has caused fear among other species. Many are calling for restrictions on human travel. Some want humans to wear strength limiters, devices that would reduce your physical power to match the galactic average." "That's ridiculous," said. She stood up. "Humans have been peaceful in space. We follow the rules. We work hard. One incident of self-defense doesn't justify restrictions on an entire species." "One incident," the red-scaled alien's voice was sharp. "There have been others, small incidents. A human dock worker pushed a supervisor. The supervisor broke an arm. A human mechanic grabbed an engineer during an argument. The engineer suffered a cracked shell. These incidents are increasing." "Because other species keep underestimating us," said. "They think we're weak, they push us, they intimidate us, and when we push back, suddenly we're the problem." Another council member spoke. This one looked like a bird with 4 wings. "Perhaps both sides need education. Perhaps restrictions are not the answer, but something must change." A screen flickered. A new face appeared. It was a human woman with white hair and sharp eyes. "I am Min," she said. "I represent the human colonies of Tau. I have lived in space my entire life. I was born here, raised here." His jaw tightened. Counselor Min is from a low-gravity colony world. She has a different perspective. "I have the correct perspective," Min said coldly. "I know what it's like to live among aliens, to be part of a functioning galactic community. Earthborn humans are dangerous. They don't understand their own strength. They react with violence when frightened. They need to be controlled." "I didn't react with violence," said. Everyone turned to look at her. "I reacted with self-defense. There's a difference." "Is there?" Min's eyes were hard. "A broken jaw, permanent damage, cybernetic reconstruction. Those are violent outcomes." "From a defensive action," said. Her voice was steady. "He grabbed me. What was I supposed to do?" "Submit," Min said simply. "Accept the authority. File a complaint through proper channels. Civilized responses." "Submit to being assaulted," felt anger rising. "That's your answer. Just let anyone who's bigger grab us. Let them intimidate us. Accept it." "Yes," Min said. "That's how we survive in space. By adapting, by controlling ourselves, by understanding we are the minority." "No," the voice came from an unexpected source. Doctor stood up. "That is not survival. That is submission to abuse. I have reviewed hundreds of incident reports. Humans are not the problem. The problem is assumption. We assumed humans were weak because they look soft. We assumed we could treat them as we pleased. We were wrong." The jellyfish-like council leader spoke again. "Doctor, you performed the surgery on Commander Vex. What is your professional opinion?" "My opinion is that both parties acted according to their nature," Doctor said. "Commander Vex acted as often do, with physical dominance, with intimidation. Miss acted as Earthborn humans do when threatened, with immediate defensive force. Neither is wrong in their own context, but context must now change." Another council member joined in. This one was small and furry. "We could require all humans to attend restraint training, teach them to control their strength. We could also require all other species to attend consent training," countered. "Teach them not to touch others without permission." The debate went on for another hour. Sat and listened. They talked about her like she wasn't there, about humans like they were a problem to be solved, about restrictions and rules and controls. Finally, the jellyfish leader called for silence. "Commander Vex, you have been quiet. What is your view?" Vex stood again. The mechanical device on his face hummed softly. "My view is that I was arrogant. I assumed humans were weak because they appeared soft. I used my position to intimidate someone who could not fight back, except she could fight back. She did fight back, and I paid the price." "Do you think humans should be restricted?" the leader asked. "No," Vex said. The word came out firm despite the mechanical voice. "I think we should stop treating any species as lesser. We have venom in our teeth. We could kill most species with a single bite. Should we wear muzzles, have acid blood? Should they be drained? Every species brings danger. Every species brings capability. Respect should be universal." The room went quiet, stared at Vex. He met her eyes for a moment, then looked away. The council talked among themselves. Screens flickered as they communicated in languages didn't know. Finally, the jellyfish leader spoke. "We have reached a decision. There will be no restrictions on human travel or strength. However, all mixed-species stations must implement mandatory cross-species education. All personnel must learn about biological differences. All personnel must understand appropriate conduct. Physical contact without consent is now a serious violation, regardless of species." Smiled, it was small, but it was there. "Additionally," the leader continued, "Commander Vex will be reassigned. He will work in cultural education. He will teach others about respect between species. His experience will serve as a lesson." Vex nodded slowly. "Miss," the leader said, "you are not at fault. You defended yourself within acceptable limits. However, we ask that you also participate in the education program. Your perspective is valuable." My perspective asked. "Yes, you can teach others what it feels like to be underestimated, to be grabbed, to have no choice but to defend yourself. These are lessons the galaxy needs." The meeting ended. As people filed out, Vex approached. They stood facing each other. The last time they'd been this close, his hands had been on her collar. "I owe you an apology," Vex said through his mechanical voice. "I treated you as lesser, as weak, as something to be pushed aside. I was wrong." "I'm sorry about your jaw," said she meant it. "Don't be, I earned this." He touched the device on his face. "Every time I eat, I remember. Every time I speak, I remember. I remember that strength comes in forms I didn't recognize. That respect must be given, not taken." "Will you really teach others?" asked. "Yes, it's all I can do now. My security career is over. No commander can lead with a mechanical jaw, but perhaps I can prevent others from making my mistakes." He paused. "I would like to think something good came from this, that I destroyed my own jaw but built understanding in its place." Didn't know what to say to that, so she just nodded. Vex walked away. The humming of his feeding device faded down the corridor. Ambassador put a hand on shoulder. "You did well in there." "I didn't do anything. I just answered questions." "You stood up for yourself. Again, that matters," smiled. "The galaxy is learning, slowly, but it's learning." That night stood at the observation deck. She watched ships come and go, aliens of 100 species moving through space, living together, working together. Sometimes it was messy. Sometimes people got hurt, but they were trying. Maybe that was enough. 1 year later, Nexus Prime Station looked different, not physically. The corridors were the same. The cargo bays were the same, but the feeling was different. Walked through the main corridor toward the education center. Aliens passed her without fear. Some nodded hello, some smiled in their own ways. A small child ran past, chasing a floating toy. The child's parent apologized for the noise. "It's okay," said, "kids should run." At the education center, a group waited for her. 20 new arrivals, different species, all of them here to learn about working in mixed environments. Vex was already there. He stood at the front of the room, organizing teaching materials on a holographic display. The mechanical device on his jaw was sleeker now, updated. It still hummed softly, but the sound had become normal too. "Good morning," Vex said. His mechanical voice was clearer now too. They'd improved the translation software. "Morning," replied. She set down her bag and looked at the students. "Lot of new faces today." "New transport arrived last night. 20 workers. They all need orientation." Vex pulled up a schedule on the display. "I'll cover biological differences in the first hour. You'll cover personal boundaries and consent in the second hour. Then we'll do scenario training together in the afternoon." This had become their routine. 3 times a week they taught together. It had been strange at first, standing in the same room with the person she'd injured, the person who'd grabbed her. But over time it had become normal. More than normal, it had become important. The students filed in. They sat in chairs designed for different body types. Some chairs were tall, some were wide. Some had spaces for tails or extra limbs. Vex started the lesson. "Welcome to Nexus Prime Station. This is a mixed species environment. That means you will work alongside beings very different from yourself. Some will be stronger than you. Some will be faster. Some will have abilities you don't have. And you will have abilities they don't have." He pulled up images on the display. Different species, different worlds. "I am Commander Vex. I was head of security on this station. Notice I said was." He touched his mechanical jaw. "I learned an important lesson about assumptions. This is that lesson." The students leaned forward. Everyone knew the story. It had spread through the galaxy. The commander who grabbed a human. The human who broke his jaw in one hit. It had become legend. This is, Vex continued. She is human from Earth, a high-gravity world. When I first met her, I assumed she was weak because she looked soft. No scales, no armor, no visible weapons. I was wrong. Stood up. I'm not here to scare you, I'm here to help you understand. Humans look weak compared to many species. We're soft. We're small. We don't have claws or venom or acid blood, but we evolved on a planet with strong gravity. That made our muscles and bones dense. It made us strong in ways that aren't obvious. One of the students raised a tentacle. It was a jellyfish-like but smaller than the council member. How strong? Strong enough to seriously hurt someone without meaning to, said. That's why this training exists, so everyone understands, so accidents don't happen. Vex took over. But humans aren't the only ones with hidden strengths, have venom. One bite can paralyze most species, have acid blood. If you cut one, the blood can burn through metal, have electrical discharge, can produce sonic frequencies that rupture organs. He let that sink in. Every species is dangerous. Every species has evolved to survive. The key is respect, understanding, control. The lesson continued. Vex explained biological differences, explained emotional responses. Together, they painted a picture of how different species could coexist safely. During the break, a young student approached Vex. Sir, does it hurt? The mechanical jaw. Sometimes, Vex admitted, especially in the cold, but pain is a teacher. It reminds me to be better. Do you hate her? The student glanced at the human who did this. No, Vex said. I don't hate her, I respect her. She defended herself against someone who was abusing his power. That someone was me. The fault was mine. The afternoon was scenario training. Vex and would act out situations. The students would discuss what went wrong and how to fix it. Scenario 1, Vex announced. A worker is in your way, you need to move them. What do you do? A student answered, tell them to move, use words first. Good, and if they don't hear you? Touch their shoulder gently to get attention, another student said. Ask permission first if possible. Excellent, Vex pulled forward. Now watch. This is what I did wrong a year ago. He mimed grabbing her collar. He didn't actually touch her. They'd practiced this demonstration many times. I grabbed her without permission. I lifted her. I used my size to intimidate. What should have happened? The students called out answers, ask nicely, file a complaint, call a supervisor, anything except grabbing. And when someone grabs you, Vex asked, what do you do? Demonstrated the defensive move. Slowly, carefully, showing how the elbow came up, how the body twisted, how the force. This is a defensive move, explained. Every human learns it before coming to space. We learn it because we know we're stronger than we realize. We learn control, but if someone grabs us, instinct takes over. Defense is automatic. So don't grab humans, a student asked. Don't grab anyone, corrected. Consent matters for all species. But yes, especially don't grab species from high-gravity worlds. Their defensive reflexes can cause serious harm. The training ended at sunset. The students left talking among themselves. They looked thoughtful, maybe a little nervous, but that was good. Nervous meant careful, careful meant safe. And Vex cleaned up the room. They worked in comfortable silence. This too had become routine. Do you think it's working? Asked the training. Yes, Vex said. We've had no serious incidents in 6 months. Workers from different species are socializing more. Fear is decreasing. Understanding is increasing. He paused. But it's slow. Change always is. Do you regret it? Asked. Taking this job, teaching instead of security. Vex considered the question. I regret what I did to you. I regret my arrogance. I regret that I had to learn this lesson the hard way. He touched his jaw. But I don't regret where it led. This work matters, maybe more than security ever did. They finished cleaning. As they walked out, Vex stopped. I never asked, do you regret it, defending yourself that day? Thought about it, truly thought about it. I regret hurting you. I regret the pain I caused, but I don't regret defending myself. If someone grabbed me today, I'd do the same thing. I hope I'd never have to, but I would. Good, Vex said. That's what I teach my students too. Defense is not wrong. Aggression is wrong. Know the difference. They parted ways at the corridor junction. Vex went to the administrative offices, went to the observation deck. She liked it there, liked watching the stars. Ho found her there 20 minutes later, told me you're getting promoted. Did he? Smiled. It's not official yet. Lead trainer for the whole education program. That's big. It's terrifying, admitted. A year ago I was just loading cargo. Now I'm teaching the entire station how to coexist. You're good at it, Ho said. Everyone says so, even Vex. Especially Vex, said. He's been more supportive than anyone expected. That's growth, Ho said. He could have stayed bitter, he could have blamed you. Instead, he chose to learn, to change. That takes strength. Different kind of strength than breaking jaws, but strength nonetheless. More ships came and went. Watched them, Earth ships, 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 species from 100 worlds all moving through space together. Do you ever think about going home? Ho asked. Sometimes, but this feels like home now, gestured at the station. We're building something here, it's messy, it's complicated. Sometimes people get hurt, but we're trying, we're learning, that matters. A transport ship docked at the far end of the station. The display showed it was from Earth. New workers arriving. New humans joining the galaxy. More people to train, Ho said. More people to teach, corrected. There's a difference. The next morning's promotion was official. Lead trainer, cross-species education program, her own office, her own team, and Vex as her co-director. We work well together, Vex said when they announced it. Our experience makes us credible. Students listen because they know our story. They know it's real. They call it sometimes, said. Have you heard that? No, what does it mean? It's a human term, a joke, when the lesson becomes the teacher, when the incident becomes the education, smiled. When the person who grabbed the human by the collar ends up teaching others not to do the same thing. I like that, Vex said. It's circular, fitting. Their office had windows overlooking Cargo Bay 7, the place where it all happened, could see workers loading containers, humans and aliens working side by side, no one grabbing anyone, no one intimidating anyone, just work, respectful, careful work. A year ago I stood in that bay and broke your jaw, said. I was terrified. I thought my life was over. A year ago I stood in that bay and grabbed you, Vex replied. I was arrogant. I thought I was untouchable. We were both wrong, said. We were both right, Vex corrected. You were right to defend yourself. I was right that something needed to change. We just didn't know what we were starting. Looked at the cargo bay, at the workers, at the peaceful routine. Do you think it was worth it? Your jaw, the pain, everything. Vex was quiet for a long moment. Ask me in another year. Ask me when the next generation of workers arrives already knowing these lessons, when they don't have to learn the hard way, when the training we do today prevents tomorrow's incidents. He turned to face her fully. Then I'll tell you if it was worth it. But could see the answer in his eyes. It was already worth it. That evening, wrote a message to her family on Earth. She told them about the promotion, about the work, about Vex. She tried to explain how a terrible moment had transformed into something meaningful. I grabbed an Earthborn girl by the collar, she wrote, pretending to be Vex. And now I can't eat on my own, but I can teach. I can help. I can make sure others don't repeat my mistakes. Sometimes the worst moments lead to the best outcomes. Sometimes breaking is the first step to building something better. She sent the message. Outside, the station hummed with life. Thousands of beings from hundreds of worlds, all learning to live together, all learning respect, all learning that strength without wisdom was dangerous, but strength with understanding could change everything. Turned off her computer and headed home. Tomorrow more students would arrive, more lessons would be taught, more progress would be made. And somewhere in his quarters, Vex was having dinner. Liquid nutrients through a mechanical system, a reminder of arrogance, a teacher in metal form. He ate slowly, carefully, and he didn't regret it anymore. Not really, because the galaxy was better now, safer, more understanding, and he had helped make it that way. One broken jaw at a time.